welcome to episode 9 of Webway Radio. I'm Kurt.
I'm Mark.
And today we are going to talk about starting the hobby, getting people into the hobby.
Just some do's and don'ts kind of with new players. It's a daunting process, or can be, and there's a lot of things you can do to make that a lot less daunting and a lot more fun.
So we're going to chat about that a little bit.
Yep.
I'll talk hobby progress. You'll talk games played. And it's the kind of the usual.
Yep. Business as usual.
Anything else before we jump into the show?
I think I'm ready. You?
All right. I'm good. Let's go. All right, let's jump to hobby progress.
Oh boy.
Mark, what have you been working on?
Nothing.
Really? I thought you had something.
So my terrain
That
counts.
literally just came off the printer like 20 minutes ago.
So I've had
my hobby progress, not your hobby progress. You sent me the files.
It's for me.
All right.
So I've had a very, very, very busy couple of weeks at work, and it's pretty much when I get home, it's like I just want to crash. And
I get it. That's the first time I've used my printer in 3 weeks.
You're welcome. Question mark.
But now I've had the day off. I've done 2 prints for you, 4 prints, 5 prints for you.
Ooh.
And my resin 3D printer has been going nonstop because I had to put in another sheet of the FEP. I replaced the screen protector. I've recalibrated. I've done all the things, and I've done like 6 prints in 2 days now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Making progress.
a lot of cool stuff happening.
Yeah, after when I get home later, I'll have some more BattleTech terrain because that's I guess if that counts as hobby progress, does list building and like figuring out where your models are going, does that count?
I'll count it. I don't know that we're necessarily going to spend like 20 minutes talking about your list building process, but I'll allow it. That's technically anything hobby adjacent. I mean, purchases count. Why shouldn't that?
Yes. So I guess for a little bit of background to you, maybe BattleTech, you have to buy the miniatures in packs of either 4, 5, or 6 now.
Very cool concept.
Yes, I like
and they're
it.
themed.
Yes. Slight downside, you don't always want to use those ones that are in that box. Mm-hmm. So pretty much, I will sometimes get boxes where it's like, I like 3 of these or 2 of these or sometimes even 1.
So you have to buy 3 boxes to get like, and Wolverine is one of the few I know, mech-wise.
Yes.
So you have to buy that box to get like 3 Wolverines. You have to buy it 3 times.
Yes. So downside, what you just said.
Sure.
Plus side, they're very cheap and it's easy to get a wide variety very fast.
I see the stuff that people got off Kickstarter. It's like, I Kickstarted everything. And they've got like 3 pallets of those kits at their house. Like that's insane.
It's the how fast it escalates on the Kickstarter. Did you see how many millions of dollars? That last Kickstarter got like $11 million.
A lot of millions of dollars. Yeah,
It was
for that. That's
insane.
crazy.
But so I have some buddies. We'll trade back and forth pretty much. So it's like, I'm running this faction. It has these mechs. So we swap back and forth. It's all very loose. But point being, I guess what I have spent as my air quotes hobby time this week is I have been assigning mechs. There's a bunch of different variants, but it's pretty much I'm making a list of I would never use all of these in one go, but it's kind of here's the box that I am drawing. Yeah. Yes. So it's like I'm assigning these guys here.
I like that.
So, it's a fun little exercise because you can kind of put some fluff into it's all self-imposed, which I love because it lets me be super fluffy with kind of I want to play these guys this way. I really like this
your clan and how it actually
Yep. So that is basically what I've been doing the last couple of days. I have been unfortunately procrastinating because the next thing I have to build is 20 more Saurus warriors, and the first 20 almost killed me.
I can see that.
Yeah. So I need to just start chipping away at it again, and that'll be what I'm doing the rest of this week and next week. But it's like one of those like trying to.
You got some work ahead of you.
Yeah,
huh?
I think it took me like 3 or 4 hours to build 10 of them in one sitting, and that felt like a lot because it's very repetitive.
Sure,
but a lot of parts per guy. But we're getting there. It's kind of been also with the league. I've had built what I needed. So
and that's where I'm at. Everything's painted up, still kind of based and everything for what I need for 500. But as of now, I'm done with 500 points and I'm up to 1,000.
Same.
So I have to get busy.
Yeah. So I kind of like I let off the gas for a little bit, and now I need to step on it again. Because there's going to be more raptors. There's going to be more agrodons at 1,000 points. You don't have to fight them. Someone else does.
Yeah, that's somebody else's problem. Cool, man. Anything else hobby-wise?
I guess just I picked out a theme for terrain for Age of Sigmar, and that has been what you've been printing for me this week.
And it's amazing terrain. I'm kind of jealous, but then I really like my busted city stuff. So
yeah, I wanted to pick something distinct from yours, but still also have some flavor.
It could be on the table together if we wanted it to.
Yes. So for anyone, I guess, who knows it, I had a very direct reference that I was drawing inspiration from for this. It's from the first DLC for Doom Eternal, the Blood Swamps. It's like this broken down, it's very pale green, misty swamp with like, I guess a battle happened there or something, but giant skeletons and ruins and creepy shriveled trees and stuff. So that's the board. It's giant skeletons, ruins, and creepy trees. So
I dig it.
We're sending it.
And during our game, we kind of talked about what you could do or how we could kind of paint that to get that effect. So I'm curious, and I gave you a little piece of like terrain with bricks and walls to just test on different,
It'll be interesting because it's very green looking in the game, but a lot of that is because of ambient lighting and because it's like misty,
the creepy mist. Yeah.
So if I want to replicate that in real life, obviously I can't summon a green mist, so I'll have to.
You could get a fog machine and put a little bit of green food coloring in there and just, and just apologize to your opponents for choking them out and triggering fire alarms.
And then I win though, which is really, that's what we're here for, right?
I get it. Nice.
But yeah, so that's been me. Not as much as I should have. I've been bad. But what about you?
We have hit the point where I talked last time we recorded about having 3 days off without the family and being super productive.
Yes.
And we're there.
Oh.
Today was day one of no fam. Hobby extravaganza.
We're in the midst of it.
So I finished my unit of gut rippers, got them based, got the toppers on the bases. I need to put magnets in them, but that is not a right now problem.
Sure.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah, I like them.
Playing today, I realized I forgot a sword on somebody's back. That's still brown, but that's a future problem.
It's really rusty,
Yeah, and that's what I'm just going to hit it with. Like, I'll probably dry brush a little bit of metal on there and maybe sponge metal, and like it's just rusted. We're done. But I started the Hobgrot Slitters today. Ooh. Got them yellowed. I got the metal done. I've got the kind of cream color on all the ropes and stuff that I'll hit them with a wash, and that's done. Yeah. Skeleton Horde is an amazing way to make cloth look good.
Yep.
And I started working on the shaman a little bit.
He's also looking cool. It's such a cool model.
And everybody keeps commenting on his backplate that's just a giant skull.
Yeah, he's wearing it like a hermit a hermit crab shell.
It's like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, except it's a skull instead of a shell. And
that's really cool.
I'm living for it.
Yeah.
But you're two people now in like a week have been like, that's so cool. And I didn't even notice it until somebody pointed it out. I was
really?
Like, because I haven't sat down to paint him yet, so I haven't explored him.
Gotcha.
And how I, all the nooks and crannies and all the things.
You didn't build him, did you? He was built.
He was, but I've already built one back when it came out like 4 years ago and it was push fit.
Gotcha.
Also, speaking of my gut rippers, I discovered today that these are the push fit models from the Dominion box.
Yes.
And they're not glued together.
No.
They're push fitted together. And I don't know how I didn't discover it until I went to rebase them. But like an arm and a leg fell off and I was like, oh no.
That'll cost you.
That
an arm and a
is
leg.
not a Kurt problem right now. That's when I feel like it. If I feel like it, I might dab some glue and reattach it, but I'm going to seal them quick and not worry about it.
Fair enough.
Let it go.
I mean, with how they make them, a lot of times it's very, very, very difficult
I had
pop
to twist to replicate that. I really had to like twist and pull. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, but
probably
I'm not winning an award with this paint job, so I'm not worried about it.
I mean, they're just dudes.
There's one where you can see the seam like down the middle of his chest, but I just don't care enough. They're painted. I don't care.
When they're in blocks of 20, you're not going to be able to tell.
Exactly. Nobody's going to point that out. And if they do, they're a jerk, and I don't want to play you.
I say as someone who spent an hour on a Termagant.
That new kit, though, is a lot harder than I would have thought.
Yes. They are gorgeous, though. The back spines on the Termagants, the fact that because they used to be flat, they have like the ridges. They're so
the new kits are amazing, and I have a whole army of them.
I still probably have like 200 because I accidentally bought too many.
It's easy to do.
Well, it was, I don't know if I've told you this before. I swear I have, but they were, for some reason, half the price I thought they were.
Oh, yes.
Because I was buying them, I thought I was buying sets of 10. They were sets of 20. So I bought like 6 sets of 20.
Were you building Endless Swarm too?
Yes. I was going to do Invasion Fleet and do that because you could heal units, and I thought that was better.
I mean, it is now.
Yeah.
Endless Swarm is just bad. But either way.
Yep. So I was going to have like maxed all the little Griblies and then realized how awful that was to push around that many models and try and play the game. The models don't do anything. They just die and sit there. And
it was Saturday morning. Jordan had plans to go to the teacher store to set up her new classroom. I was going to go to Huntsville and just like pop in, pop out.
Yeah.
And get my General's Handbook because the Deep always has like 20 of whatever new thing comes out like that. And her plans got canceled. She was like, I'll go with you because she wanted to go to Huntsville.
Sure.
And we had an adventure. Have I talked to you about I think I ranted about it last night with you. Because I also had people over last night to play Age of Sigmar.
You may have ranted while I was in the room, but I was fighting Slaves to Darkness.
I want to tell a little story. Ooh. So we go down there, pop into the Deep, and they have a lot of stuff. They have older things. So I always like to just look and like, oh, they have this thing that sold out. But it was, you know. And we found a set of Fyreslayer dice for my wife who has chosen dwarfs because she always plays a dwarf in D&D. And we were going through the website and like, what do you think of this army? She's like, no, what do you think of this one? No, I like that one. And we got to the dwarf. She was like, that's it. That's the winner. I don't need to see anything else.
Wow.
And so they had the dice from, I guess, last edition, the bright orange, like big casino looking dice. And, you know, it's 20% off. It's like, gotcha. Yep.
That's cool.
So she got those, and we picked her up a box of the Berserker guys that makes like 6 other kits.
They all look the same, so it's, you know,
the new start collecting is like 3 of those kits and a character.
Wow.
Because you can build them as like, guys with this weapon does this, and guys with that weapon does that, and guy with this weapon does a different thing. So we picked up one of those, and then I just posted in Nashhammer like, hey, looking for Fyreslayers.
Yeah.
And somebody had the old start collecting equivalent box.
Okay.
With the dragon in it.
Ooh.
That's like $165 on his own.
The Magma drops $165.
I think so.
Jeez.
It's very, you know.
Yeah.
And then it had a unit of Berserkers, and then like 3 characters.
Wow.
Or 2 characters plus the dragon guy.
But I mean, that covers bases you don't have.
Yeah. And he wanted $100 for it. Wow. So on Father's Day, I got up at like 9 a.m. and shot to Nashville and like right here. So
that's
nice.
what that box up
Yeah, that's where I got that. Yeah.
Okay. I remember seeing it in the Discord, but I didn't hear the story behind it.
Yeah.
So here's a Magma Droth.
But while we were in Huntsville, you know, my wife loves to eat. Eating out at restaurants is like, she lives and breathes for it. She would spend all of her disposable income on restaurants if she could. So she was like, I want Chinese. I want authentic Chinese. So, you know, we're on Google and we found like this perfect little spot. And we go and sign on the door says, family vacation closed until like July 24th.
Oh,
So, are you kidding me? Come on. So then we fall back to like, well, do you want to go to something else? And we drive there, and she's like, if we go to Yellowhammer, I can just get the beer I like. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll eat a wood-fired pizza. Like, it's fine. And we pull up, or we turn off the Memorial Highway or whatever it is in Huntsville, and we're like 4 blocks away, and there's people with signs.
Oh.
And I was like, what is this? And then one of the signs sticks out because it's Fry from Futurama, like doing the eye thing. It's like, not sure if, you know, and I don't want to get in the politics of it, but one of the rallies was there.
Oh, gotcha.
Because that's a very hip young place.
Sure.
If you were going to throw a big rally that had a lot of space and green and walkways and all the things, that's probably where I would pick to do a rally.
Sure.
People were parked everywhere.
Oh.
We drove for 4 blocks in all 4 directions of this place. And like random neighborhood houses had cars in the front yard.
Oh, wow.
Every sidewalk, every street corner. She's like, do you want to park and walk? I was like, no, because it's about to rain. And there's probably 5,000 to 10,000 people outside. And when it starts to rain, where do you think they're going to go? And she was like, in the restaurant. I was like, exactly. So no. And then we ended up going to 3rd or 4th place, depending on how you look at it. And as we walk in, I was like, oh, the menu looks great. She's like, we're actually doing brunch until 2.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh, and just walked out. And we ended up walking over to Farm Burger. Have you ever been to one of these places? Everything's like locally sourced and cooked to order and never frozen and all the things. And it was like $14 for a double bacon cheeseburger. But it had like house-made honey Dijon mustard.
Oh, wow.
And the pickles, you could still taste the cucumber. Like they were fresh.
Wow.
Like it was the best burger I've ever had. So it was $38 for 2 burgers, fries, and a beer.
Wow.
But even her chicken burger was like loaded with flavor.
Wow.
It was a cool little spot. It's very hip. I want to go back because they have all kinds of like just ridiculous looking burgers. But after going to 5 restaurants, I was like, I just want a cheeseburger and just got like the most basic thing I could.
Yeah.
But it was so good. Oh my gosh.
Good.
That burger was like both hands to eat it. Like it was just massive.
Burdensome, unwieldy.
Good. But no, that was our adventure. She's got like 1,000 points of Fyreslayers.
Oh boy. Angry dwarves. I'm sure.
Hits and wounds on 3s. Rend for 1 or 2 damage, depending on what it is and what weapon. And
I'm sure
charge bonuses and
they'll
all
kick
the
in
things.
the teeth of my skinks at some point, I'm sure.
And you know my wife. She will lose a couple of games and she will go into like full-blown detective mode and spend a day figuring out how to beat you, and you'll never beat her again. So look
I
forward
have not
to that.
faced her in anything yet, so I guess I will get that experience firsthand at some point.
And it's funny, the first time she plays somebody, she's like timid and plays her like, oh, I'm a girl, I don't know how to play. But she's studying and taking notes the whole time. And you'll never beat her again.
Interesting. Is that a challenge?
Good luck. She was the terror of my room for quite a while.
Okay.
But as far as hobby progress goes, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Okie dokie.
So let's jump over to games played. I'll let you go first because I've been talking for like 8 minutes here.
It's all good. So this week, actually, today and yesterday, I got in both of my games for this round of the Escalation League.
Yes,
500
round
points.
1,
Yep.
500 points.
Yep. So you were the second game. Both of the games were awesome. I played Jeff. My first game, he has Slaves to Darkness. Chaos Warriors are... Honestly, if I had to pick a single model that was not a Space Marine to represent Warhammer, it would be a Chaos Warrior. Like just that silhouette.
100% accurate, yep.
Like just so cool.
Or at least the fantasy side of
Yes,
Warhammer.
yes.
Yeah. For fantasy, chaos, and I mean Sigmarines too, but
Sure.
3rd place.
But I mean,
Yeah.
before Sigmarines, there was the Chaos Warrior. Like that was the super powered soldier and they're so cool. And you know, I think I mentioned in the very first episode on, like my uncle regaled me with the stories. It was of Chaos Warriors and all that. So I have a small, collection of them for Warcry.
So you have a small collection of everything for Warcry.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Gloomspite Gits and Nighthaunt and Soulblight and
A little bit of everything.
Yep. But yeah, so that was super fun. I think, was that his first game? Do you know if that was?
Yeah, that was his first game because he's playing Michael, I think tomorrow afternoon or Friday. I'm not sure. I think tomorrow.
Okay.
They're meeting at like 3 at Polyhedron.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, he's knocking it out. And I said this yesterday. I'm so happy to see Jeff rolling dice again. He has had just a rough like 6 months.
Yeah.
And
Great
just
guy,
to see him
super
up
fun to play
and hanging
with.
out. And it was so good to see that.
Yes, it was really fun. So pretty much we took it low and slow and kind of just like went through all the rules and stuff. And,
Even we did that tonight because we're still learning the very basics. I'm like, how did this work? And how did that work? And let's look this up. And
there's a lot of kind of unlearning from 40K, kind of just this works explicitly this way in 40K and does the exact opposite in this. It's fine. It's just kind of rewiring your brain.
Yes.
So we're kind of in the process of that. I'm still forgetting that my Saurus can deal mortal wounds at the end of my turns.
Man, I forgot to have my rules too. It's
fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
You still beat me by 1 point.
If hobby counts. Otherwise, it was 11. But
Whatever. We don't know.
It's
fine.
fine.
It's fine.
You still had models on the board, though.
I did.
Yes.
I did. I wish I had made that desperation play a little earlier to get more points and swing it a bit, but it's fine.
But yeah, so I guess spoiler, I did end up barely winning both of my games. The first game, I had 2 models left, and Jeff had his Chaos Sorcerer Lord try and cast mortals on me, and he failed, and he blew up and died.
Which is just fantastic.
It was really funny. It was, I loved it. Super close game, though. Chaos Warriors hurt very much.
It sounds like it.
They are basically Saurus Warriors, except instead of getting defense buffs, they get offense buffs. So
Just what Chaos needed.
yes, they're scary. I'm terrified because I know Chosen. He has a box that he brought. There's Chosen in there. They get to attack twice.
Oh.
Like it's, I think, a once per game thing,
Sure,
and they do
but still.
last. But a 10-man block of very powerful, very durable units that just slap. It's going to hurt whoever ends up facing him at like 2,000 points.
I need to play him next round or not at all. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah. But yeah, so super great game, super fun time. Always enjoy hanging out with Jeff. And then today was with you.
Me and you.
Yep. So I guess technically round 2 of us going against each other in Age of Sigmar. I think we're both a little bit more familiar with our rules than we were.
I remembered all my crits on hit this time.
Yes.
So that helped.
Those hurt as well.
Yes. Not so much today.
They did. They killed my raptors, my agrodons.
Yeah,
But
true. Yeah.
Very close game. Your shaman ended up escaping. I killed everyone but the shaman and his little pot grot.
I had to tie you up. Cute little pot grot. I can't wait to paint him. He looks so fun.
I was hoping the entire game he was going to blow up, and he didn't. I was very disappointed.
I rolled so hot. Like every spell I cast was like a 9, 10, 11, or 12. I didn't roll anything short. Like it was so
You just
awesome.
like sneezed in the face of my Saurus all game and neutered their attacks. It was,
that -1 attack is incredible.
yeah.
And of course, the last round of combat, I realized my Kruleboyz make you -1 to hit also if I roll a 3 up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
So that probably would have kept him alive for a
Is
little
that
longer.
the Belchabana? Like the banner standard bearer dude?
Yeah, he's got the thing.
It's got the fancy thing.
It was a fun game. I'm still enjoying AOS. I'm enjoying hobbying, and I guess now is a good time to go into my book club review thing that I tend to be doing every episode now because I am so into the audiobooks right now for the Old World and Age of Sigmar.
Yeah,
it's great. I've started book 1 of Gotrek and Felix, and it is so cool to get this episodic, like, chapter 1 is this adventure, chapter 2 is that adventure, and to see these Old World cities. Not to see, but to hear about them and to see the characters and the beastmen and all this like cool stuff going down. The nostalgia hit is so hard. And of course, last night we talked about like, man, I'd love to play Old World, but like there's nobody playing, blah, blah, blah. And literally like 2 hours after that, somebody in Discord was like, can you make an Old World channel? I was like, why? and apparently Christopher is getting into Cathay.
Interesting. They're very cool models.
They are. And we've talked about me potentially proxying for Cities of Sigmar. A lot of people are talking about that too. The Cities of Sigmar Discord is just like, how can I use these?
Interesting. So I called it ahead of time.
Man, you are ahead of your time.
Woo.
And so now it's suddenly I'm like, oh no. And I was like, I'll fight the urge. And I was strong. I didn't look at anything last night.
Good.
And then this morning I was like, well, let's just, the Beastman had a really cool chapter. Like, let's look at those models because I had an old Beastman army. Like that's not just like that's like a huge nostalgia hit. Like, so I'm looking at them. I was like, oh man, I'm scratching my neck. Like I need it. And I started looking at the wood elves, and it's just like, oh, I can't do it again. If there were 3 or 4 of us, like let's do this and just play this for a couple months, like maybe.
How about a couple years? That's a big investment.
Yes, but and it's you gotta buy so much. Thankfully, the kits now are like 20 models instead of 10.
Oh, gotcha. So
But
it's a little less.
So it's not as bad, but you're still buying like 20-year-old models. So
and some of them are metal still too, right?
yeah, a few have been moved to resin from Forge World.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
It's still a big ask. So I'm on the fence. I want to, but
we'll see how we are because Heresy's got its update.
Well, and that's the other thing
Legion's
too.
got
Like
its update. Age of
Heresy's
Sigmar.
coming.
Yeah.
So I as much as I want to, as much as I want to relive that, maybe when they re-release Old World in like another 20 years, I'll be like, I'm going back with my cane and wheelchair. But yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. And I could 3D print it, but that's well, then I can't play in stores, and but it cost me like a tenth. So I don't know. We'll see. See if this actually takes off. All right, so I think that's it for games played.
Yep.
Oh, I guess I did play a game with Wade out of Polyhedron. He had Nighthaunt. He had a brick of 20 dudes. I don't know which ones.
Do they have swords or
Yes.
do they have Blade Geist Revenants?
Probably them.
Okay.
Those ones are crazy. and he warned me beforehand. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to win. I was like, why? He's like, well, you do mortals and I'm weak to mortals. And it was like, light bulb. Okay. So I killed everything but his character. It was literally a unit of 20 in a character, and that's all he could fit.
Oh, wow.
So if he touched it, it died. But if I was able to mortal things real hard and restrict things,
Gotcha.
it wasn't so bad.
Do they have ward saves?
I think it's a 4-up invuln.
Oh, and it's like an unrendable invuln.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's just they just had, so they hit on 3s, they win on 3s, and I had to have 4+ to. It's like playing Custodes.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a good game. He's a good guy, and he was newish to the hobby and everything too. So it was fun. I look forward to meeting more people playing in the Escalation League.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And it's cool to give out dice and stickers to people. It's like, whoa, that's so cool. So maybe he listens to this. I don't know. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
And speaking of meeting people, I finally met John last night.
Did I can't
after
believe.
forever.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. So he'll hear this and hopefully comment somewhere. Appreciate it. All right. So now let's take a break.
Yep.
And then we will jump into our main topic.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about new games with new players, and that's actually our topic for today is introducing new players to games. Doesn't have to be Age of Sigmar, but just in general.
Just in general.
Yep.
All right, where do you want to start with this particular topic? Because I know there's a lot of directions we could take this.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
So I guess baseline. I have an opinion on this, but what is your goal, I guess, when you're teaching a new player? Like what is the end goal?
I've been doing this long enough. I've tried to teach or I've shown people this so many times. And even when they act like somebody comes out and they're like, whoa, what's all this? It's like, all right, so there's 2 ways we can do this. I can throw you the elevator pitch. And if you want to go down that rabbit hole, like red pill, blue pill, if you want to continue, we can have this talk.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, this is neat and have zero interest in what's happening out here, I'll talk to you for about 3 minutes and we'll go back in the kitchen.
Yep.
And most of the time it's kind of a mix. Or it's like, all right, let's go a little bit deeper. And they're like, whoa, this costs way too much money. And they are out.
Understandably.
But it's one of those things. And I've tried to get my nephew into this. And I'll probably talk about that particular experience more than anything else here. But it's like, if you don't have a job or just loaded parents, wargaming is probably not for you.
Not unless you have a very generous donor for 3D prints or other models.
Right. But still, I mean, most kids, and we try to do a 3rd grade club at my wife's school. It's been 7 years now. Oh my gosh. And those kids, like one of them ended up going to Franklin with his mom. Yeah. And they got there and was just like, oh, this is too much. Like they went all the way up there before they realized it. And so, but I used to know the guy that worked up there. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I think one of your kids showed up. He said he was in a Warhammer club in Tullahoma City. He's like, oh my gosh, like it was so cool. And yeah, they got up there and it's like, it's how much? And I need how many boxes? And it's just, that's a hard sell for a parent of a 3rd grader to be like, no.
Spend $600, $700 on little Timmy to get his Stormcast, and he doesn't even know how to build them.
But that's something I do tell people. It's like, all right, that Space Marine box it might be $60.
Yes.
But you're going to spend a couple hours putting it together, a couple hours painting it.
Yep.
However many untold games you're going to play, and you start breaking that down, and like it's no different or even cheaper than if you were to buy like the latest and greatest Call of Duty and play it for 10 or 20 hours and never touch it again.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's one of the, but it's like this retains its value if generally, if you pick an army and keep your models, you have them.
Yes.
Generally the rules don't go away.
Even in those cases, though, it's like you still have the books, right? Like
exactly. Yeah,
if you have a buddy,
editions or something, or just play Legends or whatever.
They can't turn off the servers,
exactly. Right? And this is all Warhammer specific examples, but it kind of even a box of like Star Wars Legion, the new starter boxes are 100, and the kid has to have clippers and paint and files and all the things. And it's like
there is a very, very big upfront time and financial investment to these. And like all reading and comprehending the rules, it takes a lot of like mind time.
Sure.
Like
and you almost have to have somebody that can teach you. It's not something you could just read. And it is, but you're going to get a lot wrong.
It's easier to not, which I guess, so
we're struggling with that now with Age of Sigmar because we're all kind of new.
Yes.
And so we're having to kind of like read the book and go through it. And we've got quick references as we go.
I need to knuckle down more and go
join the club.
That. And
I just need to I got the General's Handbook now, so it's a little more portable than the 300-page core rule book.
Oh, gotcha.
So now that I have that, I can throw that in my backpack at work and just I got 10 minutes, and just read through a chapter or something.
Yeah, I need to. Oh, does that replace the free core rules they had on there? Do I need to reprint the? Is there a new one? Probably.
I don't know if they updated that.
Okay.
Not a lot changed. It's more just mission structure and things.
Okay, so then it should.
I think the core rules are and the FAQs are out there for that anyway.
Gotcha. Okay, but I have reading ahead of me.
Well, let's try this. So let's say you've got a nephew, little Johnny.
Sure.
And he came over one day and he saw your stuff and he's like, "Wow, that's so cool." How do you get little Johnny into gaming? And it doesn't have to be Warhammer. It could be Legion or MCP, anything. How do you approach that?
Well, I think a lot of it, I'm leaning, I guess, more of almost like a gameplay. Like you have to know the rules, right? Like to be able to teach, and less so with wargaming, but I have taught a lot of people a lot of board games. Like with the exception of yourself and a couple other people at this point, usually I am the person who has the game and teaches the game. That is just the role that I have, for better or worse.
I get it. I'm the forever DM. I understand completely.
But yeah, it's kind of one of those, I feel like actually playing the game, they have to appreciate the aesthetic. They have to be interested in it. I think generally, if they have never, ever, ever, ever played a war game, I would go skirmish first.
Sure.
Your
my war cries or...
Yeah, my brother-in-law has basically said, "Hey, teach me Warhammer." And it's like, I am not going to drop you into 40K having never played a miniature game either.
You don't want to drop that financial bomb on your sister and her family.
It's less that. It's more just I'm surprised because I do have friends that are only board game players. Sure. Even playing X-Wing with them, they were so taken aback by the freedom of movement in that game. Just the concept of, here's a ruler, you put it and your guy moves. Just the concept.
It's not a square set, whatever, or hexes or...
So it's kind of not baby steps, but baby steps. You don't want to throw them into I feel like 40K is not the introduction I would give for don't go full war game usually.
Maybe the Target Space Marine, 20 Termagants and a Titus or whatever.
Now, I imagine that's what is it now? Combat Patrol and Spearhead. I imagine that's what those are for. I prefer something a bit more purpose made.
Sure.
So Warcry. I think I've told him, it's I know it's not 40K.
Sure.
It's fantasy. But Warcry to me is the perfect introduction. So I'm I can sit both of you down and we can have a 3-player game.
So where do these people live? Because
they're ways away. Cookville.
I got a car. I have no issues getting hotel rooms, Mark. I will stay in just saying. Anyways, carry on.
But so kind of just ease somebody into it. But also, especially with someone who's very new, I feel just knowing, if it's you and a buddy and you both know what you're getting into, and it's honestly, me with Blackout and you, it's kind of I've played this once. I don't fully know what I'm doing, but we can kind of blunder our way through this and it'll be fine. Don't do that.
Fun still. It wasn't overly complicated. We've gushed about Blackout. I won't go into it here, but it was just one of those well, this is cool. I want to go down this rabbit hole.
Yes. But don't show up with a super complicated game with someone who has very little experience in that area and just try do not make that their first experience with it, because I would almost guarantee you that will not be a good first impression. And I feel like a lot of times maybe there's not enough emphasis put on people's first impressions with gaming, because you know me, I'm a particularly stubborn player a lot of times.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mark.
Like Imperial Fists suit me, though, right? Very, very stubborn.
Yes, they do.
So I can take a very punishing, brutal first game. When I have been taught, not by you, but by some other people, like I think 2 or 3 gaming stores ago and at least 2 jobs ago, I got introduced to 40K. My learning game was against Custodes. You can imagine how that went. I know how that stomped. Yep. I think I killed 2 models.
Well, I can think back to other local stores that I've been involved with, and you know, people would come in and, you know, like Connor, it's a great example. He walked in, was like, hey, I want to learn how to play. Here's an army that I have, and we helped him build a list. Yep. And, you know, I was like, I'm gonna play you and teach you the rules, but I'm not gonna like not necessarily pump the brakes, but I was like, I'm gonna explain everything that's happening. And I talked myself out of the win because I'm a nice guy and like I do this and that. and you could just see the wheels turning, and he got super into it. Mm-hmm. And there's other people that, you know, all right, cool, let's set a little thing up. And they're just glazed over. I was like, all right, man, I think we're good here. Like, that's how this works. And just kind of ended early because you know they're not into this.
Yes. And that's, I think, one thing is being aware that not everyone's going to like every game, right? Mm-hmm. You need to go into it and just don't overdo it, I guess. Like you say, kind of go slowly. Knowing the rules is important when they ask a lot of questions. And also, I mean, like you say, talk yourself out of a win. I feel like it's very important to be explaining when they miss something.
Yes.
Don't use gotchas on a new player.
Gosh,
like
no.
I don't know that I've experienced that personally, but I think I've seen it a few times. It's usually not bad, but obviously that has been some people's first experience. Don't make that someone's first experience.
Yes. And we talked about that last night. I won't reiterate that whole conversation here, but yeah, I mean, the amount of people that I would teach to play versus other people, like more of my people, I feel like would continue down the rabbit hole versus like you kick their teeth in and you're upset that they didn't come back.
Right.
Like,
you punched down.
Stop clubbing seals.
Yeah. What did you achieve? Congratulations. That seal put up so much of a fight as it like looked up at you with big dewy eyes. Wham. Like,
and they're gone. So but yeah, you just have to be careful with it.
Yes. And honestly, I found bringing, I don't want to say bad units, but if you don't feel the need to throw the game, and I don't think you should have to throw the game.
Bad units, but take a variety of things. Yes. Show the different aspects and tools. And
don't just bring all tanks to the infantry and tank game. Like when someone's, and this may sound like common knowledge, but I think it's, or it may sound obvious, but I think it's important. Like for both armies, because ideally I feel like unless they're bringing something new to the table, you may be providing everything for them to learn if it's really early in the process. And you should provide an experience or try to that mimics kind of the breadth of what the game's going to cover. Like, you know, here's something that does this, here's something that does that.
I think I did that with you in Heresy.
Yes.
That was not balanced at all, but it was designed to show like, well, this is a Terminator and how this works. And this is what a tank looks like. And to show like, you can't just shoot it with a bolter and kill it anymore.
Right.
Or, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And and go in saying like, hey, this isn't going to be balanced, but this is to show you the mechanics of how the game works.
Yes. And there have been some, I remember specifically when I used to play HeroScape and teach new people, it's like I'd bring 25%, 40% of air quotes bad units.
Sure.
And I could still go all out. And it would be hard because they're less efficient.
Right.
And it was really fun for me still because it's like,
the challenge.
Yeah. Because it's like I can bring these units that I really like, but are not good and still play 100% my best game. I'm not throwing this. It's just hard. And if you want to bring like a really fluffy list, like that feels like that's the time. Because especially if you can get the person engaged on like the theme or the story of like what you're doing rather than, you know, just here's a bulldozer, enjoy. Like, I feel like you say, because I do understand not wanting to, you don't have to play, I guess, dumb. I've done that sometimes too, still, though. We had a 6-player Battletech game a couple months ago. I think I mentioned it on here.
Yeah.
And it was like we all only had one mech, and like I think it was 4v2. And so I had 2. And actually Connor was there and he had 2. And it was pretty much their win condition was kill one of my mechs. It was the strongest one. It was like kill the VIP. Huh. And it got to a point where it's like, this is getting late. So it's like, I'm just going to sling him out there and just like, let's see what happens. Yep. Like,
I got to end this now.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of just be patient, take your time. Because ultimately, to me, I guess to answer the question I asked initially, I'm wanting to make an opponent that will give me good games. Like you want a buddy to hang out with. Yeah. Like you want someone who's going to challenge you and like someone who's going to enjoy the process with you, right? So anything you can do to facilitate that growth and speed it up, like you say, don't use gotchas. Like just explain stuff.
Or like, hey, you could do that, but let me like, I've got an ability and this guy can do a thing. And like, I can overwatch with these 15 flamers and just pick that guy up. Like don't be,
which a lot of that apparently is the etiquette for 40K. Just kind of like ask. I've had that in some games where it's really nice because it makes it feel a lot less tense, where it's just like, I can ask you, if I move this guy here, can your unit just like pick them up? Like, can you just delete that? Just questions like that. And like you say, if they're maybe let them make some mistakes. You don't have to tell them everything to do, but like, don't let them make some blunder that's going to like lose the game for top of round 1 or something. Like, you got to not necessarily handhold, but you're the guide into this process.
Let them make their decisions and maybe explain like, all right, you could have done this or this. And no, I get it.
Yep.
So let me pose a question to you.
Okay.
Before we move on, is there anything else on that particular bullet
that was
point?
Pretty much that bullet point.
All right, cool. So let's say you wanted to get people into, let's say, Blackout.
Sure.
An oddity, it's not super popular. How would you go about something like that if you were like, I want to build this community? And I know we've talked about it, but we haven't really made an effort to do it other than we played it in public once, which I will say, a lot of people were coming over and asking questions.
I was really cool. Like, impressed by the
and had it been painted,
and
all that, I think the buy-in would have just been through the roof.
Yeah, it was random assortment of
it's
colors
what we had.
Of the plastic from all the 3D
and blue,
prints.
and gray,
but it's still got like half a dozen people come over.
Everybody at the shop came over and was like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
and after they kind of watched the rules, like, "Wow, that's a lot easier than pick a game." And it really is. So if you were going to make a push to build this in a local community, what would you do?
So I would set up, from my limited experience doing this sort of thing, I did it with Legion a little bit, but kind of just, I guess, throw out some feelers basically initially for like a demo time. And that could be, hey, I'm going to be here on this day. And
Tuesday at 6 or something. Yeah.
Or I honestly, in my experience, I found it easier just to set it up like through Discord with that specific person. It's like, hey, I'm going to be here to play a game with this person. Anyone else that wants to come by when we're playing this, you're free to come by. But pretty much just have
check
everything.
It out, ask questions, like do all the things.
And then pretty much just make yourself available, because honestly, Blackout maybe less so, but with a lot of games, there's a lot of upfront traps as far as list building and buying stuff, because you've done it. I've done it. I'm pretty sure most people who have been in this hobby have experienced it. You buy something, it's like, that's not what I needed. But it sucks.
The core rulebook I picked up a month ago, which we've used it a lot. I've gotten my like $23 off eBay out of it, so it's fine.
But save if you can. Try and save new players from traps. Like, that's a unique unit and you bought 3 of it. You can't do that. It may seem obvious to you, but, kind of like guide them. If you're kind of aware of all the different factions in the game, if they have a specific play style, you can point them in that direction, just like here, these guys are the tanky ones. These guys are the elite ones. These ones like shooting, you can ballpark, kind of point people in a different direction if they have a specific playstyle. Or with some games, it's almost purely aesthetic. Like, part of the reason I pick Space Marines is because they look cool.
They do.
Yeah. Dudes in armor will always be like my favorite thing. So hence the clones and the
You have a type, Mark.
I do. Full plate.
With or without helmets?
With helmets.
Yeah, skin tones. I'm learning skin tones.
It's not the skin tones as a concept. It's the you're in a war zone, put on your helmet, you moron.
One of the things, Jordan picked up the box that had like the 3 Berserker units. And she was like, I'm going to have to learn how to paint skin. It's like, yes, you are.
Honestly, I've not had that much problem with skin.
I don't think it'll be an issue. It's just, she's overachiever and perfectionist when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
She's the one that did 9 layers of 3 different colors, or 3 layers of each color to get the bone on her Eldar.
It looks really cool.
It does, but then I was like, I could just airbrush that with 1 coat and have that right. And she was like, really? Yeah, I can. Maybe 2 passes. That's cheating. It's like, no, it's not.
I'm still on that with airbrush. Actually, I do have other preferences with airbrush, but maybe I need to try it at some point. It's a style.
I have 3 and 2 compressors. Come see your boy Kurt. I got you.
I'm an airbrush guy.
It's funny. It's kind of back to hobby progress. My wife used to work with a guy, and our daughters are best friends. And he does like model cars and things. I think I talked about him coming over and just getting advice. And I airbrush something for him, and he was like, "That's amazing." He brought one of the dudes over, like the model car guys over, and he'd painted him his like skin color or whatever. He's like, what can I do? I was like, well, we can hit it with a wash. He's like, what's that? I was like, oh, buddy. So we dug out like all the flesh shade washes I have, and like Reichland flesh shade. And he's like, which one should I do? I was like, well, what tint do you want him to have? And so we kind of experimented, and I got the white sheet of paper. It's like, well, this one looks like this, and kind of did a streak of all of them, and we picked one, and he just kind of put it where it needed to be, and he's like, that looks so much better.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, man. And then I had a stack or a thing of old duplicate paints. I was like, here, take like these 9 paints I'm not going to use.
Yeah.
And I actually gave him one of my like 7 Forge World Corvus Blacks.
I was going to ask, paints. You said duplicates, so he got one of those.
And I was like, look, this is going to go bad before I ever get a chance to use it. I have like Fair 6 enough. More of these new. It's like, take this. He's like, what is it? It's a super dark, like charcoal black. And it's just a weird color. If you throw it away, you throw it away. But at this point, I paid like $12 for that pot back in the day. So,
which you bringing up hobby related, that is a part of this too, right? Like I have met plenty of people who have never painted a thing in their life and who have gotten into this hobby. My best friend, Battletech was our first war game. He had never painted a thing.
Yep.
And I sat him down, and admittedly this was before I actually knew what I was doing. So it was a very, very tedious experience, but it ended up being fun. We spent like the afternoon, like each painting a model. It was just kind of like, here's what you do that. And
go along with me, and let's both go to reds. And like, I enjoy that way more than I should.
Yeah.
I need to have more hobby nights. I think I get this other table. That's something that can definitely start to happen.
That'd be cool. Oh yeah. One of my friends, for my birthday, she sent me an early birthday care package.
Oh.
And normally what we get each other is references to like, here's all the different shows we've watched this last year. So here's a thing from that, and here's a thing from that. There was this little black case that was a zipper, and I didn't know what it was. There's no markings on the outside, and I unzipped it, and it was like miniature brushes.
Oh, cool.
Like of all these different types with like nice grips and stuff. So there's like dry brushes and really fine detail brushes and stuff. So it's like, now I have a really, really nice case.
He's out, Mr. Mark. I like it.
It's like even past whenever I hopefully not soon kill those brushes by use. It's just a good case to like carry my brushes. Whatever, and I don't have to float around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have a whole travel kit, but we haven't traveled and hobbied in like since COVID.
I have like a little toolbox that I carry.
Kind of, but it's just, I don't like to, because I don't know. I'm weird about what I work on.
Sure.
So if we're doing something like that, like I'll just assemble. It's clippers, it's a couple of files and super glue.
Yeah.
And a box of Marines or whatever. So
yeah, I don't know. Other than that one instance of painting, like I don't know if I've ever painted. That's not true. My dad and I painted ancient Greek and Roman teremes.
Sure.
several times. We had it just like on the dining table for like a few weeks, and it's just like, yeah, we'll just paint these.
And I don't like to paint other places because I've got my big hobby lights that I use, and it's just like I can't see what I'm doing, and I don't know. I have to be here to paint.
At least in here, it's really bright. My place is not that bright. I have a couple like little LEDs on my desk that I flip on. But
I spent good money on lights in here, and I probably should have done more, but it's fine. These are actually on setting 3 of 5, so if I really wanted to crank them up, I could.
Wow. I can't imagine that being that much brighter. But your lighting is so good. I can see the miniatures painted across the room and make out details on them. Like, I've not been in that many places.
I spread them out. I got the big LED panels for those that haven't been here. I got 4, and it's kind of designed and put in a way to where any table kind of in the middle of the room, there's no shadows.
Yeah.
Which is ideally,
yes.
I thought about this. Anything else on teaching people to play or getting people into the hobby? What do you think of the starter sets that are out there at like Target? Speaking of Target, we walked through a Target Saturday, and they had these Space Marine Heroes blister boxes.
Interesting.
And I was like, what is this?
Really?
It was the Primaris ones.
Yeah.
And next to that, they had the Age of Sigmar ones with the Stormcast guys. Wow. Like, man, if I played Stormcast, I'd buy like 10 of these.
That's interesting.
I've never seen them in the wild. I've seen them at GW. I didn't know Target had them. I was like, what year is it?
The closest I've gotten to that is Barnes & Noble has BattleTech. Barnes & Noble has the Warhammer like board games that people only ever buy to get the miniatures for cheaper.
I bought Blitz Bowl, sir. I still want to play that one day. I hear it's so fun.
Do they have... I guess they have all the teams, don't they?
Yeah, I've got cards with all the teams.
Interesting. I mean, I love Blood Bowl, but...
How would I start a Blood Bowl league? A Blitz Bowl league, let's be clear. Not full Blood Bowl. There's only 7 players.
But I am kind of impressed that we're in an era now where you can just find miniatures in the wild. Like, I mentioned Barnes & Noble. They straight up had, for like the first year of a kit's existence, they had an exclusive pack at Barnes & Noble for BattleTech. It was like... I bought it online from Barnes & Noble.
They had some Warhammer stuff there for a little bit. I bought something there. Oh, what was it? I don't remember, but they had it had exclusive stuff in it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I remember one of my friends in England. I forget what model it was. The Amble.
Oh, yes.
So I got that for him. And I had to go to Barnes & Noble and pick up that box and then pack it up and ship it off to England and stuff because you just can't get that over here. And then I got a nice care package in the mail of some
that's nice.
Cool stuff in return. But yeah. I don't know, though. I've not seen a ton of starter stuff. So I guess starter stuff in the meaning of just here are models, go for it.
Yeah, what do you think of the current, it's like $130 for the big starter box now for the, Tyranid Space Marine set? What do you think of stuff like that? Is it enough?
Assuming it's not the 2 factions that came in the starter box.
It's a part of those. It's like a quarter of that for each faction.
Those ones I think are not good deals because they're so much more expensive than they're 50% more expensive than they were in the previous box. All the other ones are generally a good way to get into it. I know Legion's doing that now, and that's kind of nice.
Those $95 starter kits are granted it's one army, but it's most of what you need to play a big game. So I'm excited for those to come out.
I prefer when starters have enough in it to actually get a good feel for the game.
Right.
I guess in the realm of skirmish games, obviously there's Blackout, which I think is a perfect starter.
It's fantastic.
I would say something like X-Wing, I don't like its starter.
Poor one. Well, it's a dead game now, so.
But when it existed, you got 1 X-Wing and 2 TIE fighters. And that's...
Really?
Yep, that's it.
Wow.
Yep. And it's that's not a taste at all.
Do you prefer 2-player starters? Or a 1-person, not a starter set, but a getting start. I don't know.
A faction
booster.
I like it when they have both.
Okay.
Because as the person who is I guess if you say the forever DM, I'm the forever DM, so I would like to get a starter box that I can get and we can actually play the game.
Sure.
And then when I inevitably find out that it's a cool game, I can get the other faction packs and get that going more quickly. I think I prefer 2-player starters just because it's more practical.
Sure. And Legion was like that. I picked up both of those boxes, so I've got a little bit of all the armies, kind of. So if somebody, like my kid, changes his mind every time we play, but now he's got the option to be the rebels or the stormtroopers or the, whatever, droids, and we can do that and just play our little small games if and when he wants to play.
Yeah. I know the downside of a lot of people, a lot of the complaints I've seen is it's more expensive that way because there's more stuff. And it's, I'm getting this other thing that I don't want. But it's a lot simpler to go to the store and buy one box and be able to play a game rather than I'm going to go and buy this box of dudes and there's not rules in here and there's not someone to go against and there's nothing. It's just models like that.
No tokens, no rulers, no. Well, even the 2-player boxes, you think like it's for 2 people.
Yeah.
Include 2 sets of things. But I could see cost and all that.
Yeah. So I tend to prefer 2-player things. I really prefer it when it's actually a full scale game in the starter box, but that's rare because a lot of the games you and I play in particular are larger on the model count for better
Talking
or worse.
about Mark, call me out like that.
I'm part of the problem too.
I posted stuff on Nash Hammer this week. I'm trying to sell. I've already dropped the prices after 24 hours. Get this stuff out of my room.
I yoinked your battle tag for some Tyranids.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm trying to get rid of things and you're bringing more boxes.
I know, it's fine. It's a trade. Mark. If I just throw them at you, does that count as a trade?
I think that puts me at 200 Termagants.
You're welcome.
I got to think because I was buying that Space Marine board game.
Oh, yeah.
I got 4 of those.
Wow.
Well, it was buy one, get one half off. So
as well.
I was getting them for, $30 per 20 dudes. You can't beat that price anywhere.
I wish I had something to do with the models because I think the models are gorgeous. Those are so cool.
I love them. Just one day, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
One day.
Not this day.
Nope. Not today. All right. Well, anything else on getting new players in? Starting the game, starting hobbies?
Pretty much just, be nice, kind of just provide an experience that's fun for them, and maybe you'll end up with a buddy and a gaming opponent long term.
Ideally. I mean, it worked out for us.
Yeah.
Look at us. We're running a podcast.
I know. Whoa.
With that being said, that wraps up episode 9.
Yep.
I'm Kurt.
I'm Mark.
And we'll talk to you next time.
See ya.